And now it's time for Ag on 8, where we share ag news impacting you. Well, John Deere's announcing its fourth quarter earnings and what the company calls difficult market conditions. The Moline-based ag giant reporting net earnings of just over $1 billion, bringing this year's earnings total to about $5 billion. Now that's compared to $7.1 billion last year. Deere leaders say that they'll continue to focus on operational efficiency following this year's considerable staffing cuts and tariff pressures. They're projecting their earnings to be between $4 billion and $4.75 billion for 2026. Well, Iowa Agriculture Secretary Mike Naig and 12 others are back in the state. That's after they went on a trade mission. The group visiting Vietnam and Indonesia and hoping to strengthen relationships for agricultural trade. Now, it's why I talked with Scott Cherney, an Iowa cattleman and a member of the Iowa Beef Industry Council. He was one of the 12 people to join the Ag Secretary on this trip. Hey, Scott, I know that you're back in the United States now, but tell me, what was this trip all about? What do you think it accomplished?
Yeah, thank you. This trip was really trying to gauge foreign countries that we see as a promising market for where beef and pork and corn and soybean products can be exported to, and really try to strengthen relations with the importers or exporters, and really see where the opportunities lie within those countries. With certainly growing economies, we want to see where our products could fit within their store shelves.
Well, Scott, what do you think really came out of this trip? Do you think that there's some momentum moving forward then?
Yeah. So on October 25th or 26th, there is especially with Vietnam, there is certainly progress made. There's several frameworks for MOUs that were established that would certainly give us a leg up on exporting ethanol and maybe grains into Vietnam. Um, there certainly is a ton of potential. Their governments, particular in Vietnam, see as sustainability and of course the smog and public health is a concern in those countries. So there's certainly a momentum in that way. Fuel is fuel to them, but they want to make it cleaner and more affordable. On the protein side, I think we got some opportunities there. Being that they're a fairly low income countries, we certainly have headwinds with the value of what U.S. consumers see as beef. But there's certainly a ton of potential, being that um, Vietnam has over 100 million people, and Indonesia has nearly 300 million people. There's tons of potential, but we got to start somewhere, and that's what this trip was about.
Yeah, when you talk about Vietnam, I know they're a major importer of American agricultural goods. They're in the top 10 there. Are there any barriers that you're facing right now getting beef into this country?
Particularly in beef, yeah, we're seeing hopefully a reduction in the tariffs. I believe it was well over 30 tariff rate. That should be dropping to 5% forward, but we still have to get, the framework is there, but we still have to have the official signing of any trade negotiations. The biggest barrier continues to be just the $7,000 of annual income that the average Vietnamese has. So we got to find alternative cuts and possibly the awful opportunities that would best fit them.
And I know in July, if we move over to Indonesia, the U.S. and that country reached an agreement that cut some tariffs and it also worked to cut back on some non-tariff barriers. Is Indonesia seem optimistic that this relationship is moving in the right direction?
Well, currently the non-tariff barriers in Indonesia are really I think that's going to be it'll be a struggle going forward. Being it's an 85% Muslim country, they're requiring starting next October to everything be certified halal. And with that, it just makes one more opportunity for us to have a non-tariff barrier that puts a stress on our packing industry and our producers that are selling into these markets. Um, it's just not um, it's just not as easy opportunity as what we see specifically for beef. Um, but again, on that trade mission, we met with their commerce ministry, their ag ministry, and then we also met with their halal ministry, specifically talking about them barriers and what is needed to really export halal into that country and what their requirements are.
And what does that mean for someone that might not know about that certification or that level of, certain certification there?
Sure. Specifically to beef, the Muslim culture does not want any pork products associated with their harvest capacity. And it's simple, um, the simplest thing, such as a brush that may have contained pork products, bristles or whatever it might be. It might be in the making of the plastic would have pork products. They don't want anything to do with that. In fact, it would have to be listed in those countries that require halal. Specifically, stunning how the U.S. industry does it is not acceptable by their halal standards. They want a clean cut um, within their harvest process.
That's very interesting. Well, I know that overall beef exports are down right now. So where do you think that the biggest growth for beef exports from the U.S. will be in the future?
Well, I guess right now, 6 years ago, I was in South Korea and Taiwan. In those countries, they are certainly a step ahead from an income standpoint, and I think those countries will continue to buy strong. Um, the countries like Vietnam and Philippines and even in Malaysia, those are growing economies, but they do have tourism opportunities there. Specifically, I think Japan, if they get their Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, I think those will continue to be our strong opportunities going forward, especially in whole muscle cuts and so forth. Um, there's certainly a ton of opportunity, and in those I would call them third world countries where their population just needs to have more protein.
And as a cattleman, I know that prices that farmers are selling their cattle at have hit some really high numbers this year, but in recent months and just the last month, those prices have fallen some. As a cattleman yourself, where do you think we're headed going forward?
Well, with every market, I think we had a pretty big enthusiasm run starting late last spring into the summer. Um, Cattlemen were enthusiastic. Buyers were enthusiastic. We were really laying into some profitable times for the cattle industry. Of course, as we go forward, some comments made by the administration, closures. There's some things that'll certainly slow that down, but I do think we have plenty of harvest capacity in the U.S. right now. Um, I think I think as we go, we better just expect some turbulent times. But again, the fundamentals are behind us. We don't have a ton of extra calves out in the market. We have a lot of tonnage. We're killing record high nearly every week on the steers. So I do think there's an opportunity for every cattleman. We just got to be mindful of if it's profitable for your operation to run to, whether it's raising heavier steers or if it's selling your feeder calves as fallers or backgrounding them. There's a ton of opportunity. We just got to be cognizant of what you do well and make sure that you continue to do it to your best of your abilities.
Well, Scott, I appreciate you joining us today, sharing about this trip, and wish you the best of luck the rest of the year and next year with your cattle. Well, thanks for joining us for Ag on 8. We'll see you back here next week.